number 9. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of sun. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Yeah. Big time. Big time. Big time. Big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Big time. I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time. Lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time. Number 9. Got it in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
And what's up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. We got jam-packed. Got the 6-shooter out here on the network today. Quinn's here, driving, probably as safe as anybody else. CJ's here. We got Rob, we got Donnie, and we got Siggy. Gentlemen, how are we?
Good.
Good.
Awesome.
Quinn, are you obeying all the traffic laws?
Absolutely.
That's my boy right there. Let's get right down to it. National Day that is. It is National Maple Syrup Day. So the question is, what is the best thing, and I mean the best thing, to put syrup on? Like, you have your choice, whatever. What is the best thing? What is the reason for being for maple syrup? Rob's smirking already. Rob, go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna keep it decent and go with. I would say, man, I honestly do not have a favorite pancake, waffle, or French toast. I can't even think. But if I had to pick, I would just say French toast.
Okay, that's a solid pick. That is a solid number 1 draft.
I'm trying to think like who has the best French toast around here, or waffle, or C's waffles, I guess. But I don't know, not anything in particularly favored. So I'll just say French toast.
Okay, Donnie.
Now listen, do not knock this until you try this, because if you haven't tried this, you're out of your mind. You get a waffle, you get a bunch of peanut butter, you get you get crispy bacon. You layer that, and you pour maple syrup all over it, buddy. It is the best breakfast you will ever have. I swear to God, if you don't try it, you're losing out. I will never.
Good.
And here's the deal. I will never steer anybody wrong on food, ever.
Hey, you're batting 1,000 in my book.
Right.
Everything you've told me is money, so I guess I got to try that now.
Write it down. Have them for breakfast tomorrow. Have them for dinner. I mean, it's hearty enough to have for dinner.
I don't think
I'm definitely gonna try it.
For that.
Oh yeah, so freaking good.
All right, so say it again.
It's a waffle.
Waffle.
I add butter too because I'm a pig. Butter, peanut butter, crispy bacon, and maple syrup. I promise you. And don't do any of that light stuff. Don't do the turkey bacon. Get out of here with that. I don't want to hear it. My buddy tried it. He goes, that was the most disgusting thing I ever tried. I said, what did you use? He goes, oh, I used all this stuff. I said, you use sugar-free syrup and you use turkey bacon.
Wait,
Ugh.
reverse. What the hell did you just say?
My buddy yelled at me.
No. Just what is it called when you put on pancakes and on this? What is it called?
It's called syrup. Syrup.
Wait,
Syrup.
it's pronounced syrup.
It is syrup. Okay, listen. It doesn't matter. It's good. It's good.
Wait, did he say syrup?
He had me until he said syrup.
It's scissor. Sipping scissor.
Sipping on some scissor.
Gosh, crayon or crayon?
Crayon.
Crayon. I'm a crayon guy.
I can't listen. I'm one of those guys. I'm as close to PA as you possibly can be. CJ, how do you say
are
it?
you? Are you? Stop.
CJ,
Stop.
how do you say it? How do you say it?
Crayon.
No,
So I
the
say
other
it.
one.
Crayon.
How do you say syrup?
No,
Syrup.
maple.
Syrup.
Jesus,
Syrup.
goodness gracious, whatever.
Siggy, how do you say it?
I'm with Donnie. Syrup.
I get syrup, but you can't call it syrup. Like,
Why can't you?
there's like 4 letters you're missing.
Do you understand what I'm saying, though? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yes, because you're talking about food. If you just walked up to me and said, "Hey, I love syrup," I'd be like, well, "What is wrong with this human being?" Love syrup.
Whatever.
Siggy,
But
what is
Did you write it down, though?
No, I didn't write it down.
What the heck?
We record this for a reason. I can
All
go
right.
back and watch it again and again. and
Rewatch
again.
it.
All right, Siggy, best thing to put syrup on.
Father-in-law's French toast.
Ah,
There you go.
what's special about it?
He buys a loaf of Italian bread and he cuts it himself, and it's so thick, and it's amazing.
I like it. I like it. Nobody beats Grandma's French toast ever. Except a few people who know exactly who they are, but I cannot discuss that because Grandma will get me from the grave. CJ, what do you put syrup on?
So this is it's a good one. I really can't pick between the big three, but if I had to, I would go with my grandma's waffles and put and every year in Beaver County they do a maple syrup festival, and it's fresh maple syrup. It's beautiful. That's the best stuff right there. The store-bought stuff's terrible. That stuff is golden. And so I would on my grandmother's waffles 100% every day.
All right, and now we go to the mobile food truck, Quick Push Car. What do you got, Q?
So there's 2 things that I've done, and it's obviously waffles is number 1 for me. But the last time I had any syrup was actually when I was at camp with YSU football, and that was at Christmas. And their food is so dry that you just put it on everything. So I literally covered every piece of breakfast food with syrup.
So you say waffles. Are you the kind of guy that fills every little nook or whatever that is with syrup?
No, because usually that's filled with butter beforehand and then just drenched in syrup. So
Got it.
it's basically syrup with a side of waffles for me.
I like it. See, nobody said pancakes though.
Okay, but there's only so many places that make a good pancake, though.
Oh,
Seriously.
There really is. And if you tell me
I
about
actually
that,
make better pancakes than frickin' Perkins or anybody out there.
yeah.
But
I'm a homemade pancake guy, right?
Well, homemade pancakes are the best.
Oh, they're listen.
But Cracker Barrel is the only place that makes a good pancake.
Where is there even a Cracker Barrel close to here?
isn't there one in Austintown?
Yeah,
Is there?
Austintown,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
by the Harley store.
I'm a blueberry pancake guy, and you give me syrup on that, and it's over. Maybe a little whipped cream. I don't even need butter if it's the right pancake. I'm just a huge pancake, and Sarah started these pancakes. They're pumpkin pancakes, so you almost don't even need syrup. Syrup. On these pancakes. But happy National Syrup Day to everybody. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this day. I've never known that it existed, so you learn something new every day. But with that being said, excuse me, it is time for the Would You Rather, brought to you by our friends at Baird Brothers Fine Hard Woods. Rob, take her away.
Would you rather be known for your intelligence or known for your good looks?
Wow. I'm going to go intelligence because I've heard good looks go away. And even the fuglies, when you're young, can build themselves into better looking people as they age. So I'm going to go with intelligence. Because I think that's less shallow too. Quinn?
Well, you see, based on that video about the hot cold matrix or whatever, I'm going to have to run with intelligence on that one.
The hot cool matrix?
Yeah, I'll send you that video later.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Siege?
Yeah, I'll go intelligence too. Good looks can only get you so far.
I got a feeling that Rob's going to come at us with some knowledge here in a second. Let's go, Rob.
Oh!
He says, you're not even going to see my good looks anymore. What do we have here? What is this? Do you see these comments? Oh,
no.
Let's give it a shot. All right. What's up, guys? Mike Bartos checking in, owners of Mike Bartos Power Center. I love what you guys are doing for the community. Went to Ursuline back in the day. Not sure if Mike G and Ian are listening, but I've gotten to know them really well for coming to the gym. I want to say it's awesome seeing them do great things. They're great kids. Well, thanks, Mike. We think they're pretty cool as well. Sir, I have to ask you for if you'd rather have good looks or what was the other one? Your intellect?
Intelligence.
Intelligence.
I mean, me personally, I don't really feel like taking the chance. And because Donnie, DJ, I liked your answer. Like the older we get, sometimes we can actually end up looking better than we used to as a younger. But I don't really want to go down that road if I don't have to. I'm gonna have as much fun as I can in my prime. So I'll be a derelict. Call me an idiot. I don't care. Just as long as you don't do anything to his face. We're good.
So people always ask me, right? So when I started losing, my hair, they started, are you going to try to do, you bring it back? Or are you trying to, conserve it? Or are you just going to let it fly? And obviously I let it fly. But my question is, because this is going to stay, and now there's some salt that seems to be finding its way into this, based on some wisdom, I guess is what they say. I call it stress. Rob, you are a complete ginger beard. Like, if that starts going white, you gonna let it fly, or are you gonna go just?
Well, it actually is. There is a couple. Like, I don't know if I can get close enough to. You're not gonna be able to see it, but there's a couple that are coming through, and I'm like, and I keep thinking about that, and because like my dad, he always had a full head of hair, so I don't see like any the balding gene showing up, but I see this, and then I start contemplating all the other stuff that's gonna happen. So hopefully by then, I've lived enough of my life to where I'm comfortable enough with, just exiting planet Earth, and I don't have to deal with any of that. So I'm like, once the beard goes gray, I'm done living. Just so you guys know, I'm out. This ginger,
I just keep finding myself acting like Alan from Hangover, and Phil is sitting right next to you in Donnie, and everything Donnie does, I'm like, does it look as cool as Donnie's? Like, I have to ask my wife.
Cool? I don't know if this looks cool.
Does this look as good? I asked my wife that. Does this look as cool as Donnie's? Is it the gray's coming in? Is it going to be as cool as Donnie's? She's like, shut your mouth, Alan.
I love it.
Which would you take there, Donnie Ricks?
Well, I mean, considering I used to be ridiculously good looking, like Zoolander, I'm going to have to go with intelligence because the looks are going. They're gone. They don't look as good as... This beard doesn't look good.
And
so
we got an interesting one with Chris here because he's got a twin.
You beat me to it.
Like, that's interesting. To talk to me about your thought process there.
You beat me to that one. That's where I was going with this. I'm going with intelligence. Because if I say good looks, then I got to give my brother credit too, and I know I'm smarter than him. So I'm going intelligence.
I was gonna say, man, do you guys ever have like, because you're twins, so you look the same. Growing up, did you like one had to have red, one had to have blue?
Well, growing up, you don't really get a choice. So, my mom, when we were younger, of course, tried to dress us alike. But as we got older, we don't want any part of that. We don't have rhyming. We don't have rhyming names. We don't have any of that jazz. It's just like, nope.
Do you have a handshake?
No, and we don't have a secret language. And if he gets punched, I can't feel it either. All that stuff. No.
I got a way better question than any of them all put together. Have you guys ever, on purpose, switched to the girlfriend?
No, because they all know. Everybody that we hang out
Really?
with. Oh yeah.
And they both outkick their coverage. With all due respect, I mean, their wives are beautiful. It's unbelievable. So.
Well, I didn't want to say the wife thing because then I could be getting personal and be like, I can't believe you asked that. I was going to say younger days, girlfriends. You guys never played the tricks on the girlfriend?
If we had enough money for every time we've been asked that in our lives, it's hilarious. Because growing up, we didn't have any. There was never the twins. We went to Beaver Local, and there was no other twins in the school. Now it seems like the schools are flooded with multiple twins in each class. And it's kind of crazy looking at it now, but back then we were like the circus sideshow of the school. Everybody in grades ahead of us knew us, and it's just, hey, there's the Sigler boys. How you doing? Yeah, there they are.
Did you guys at least go up to Twinsburg for the festival?
No, and we both went to Kent State, which is right there. Oh. We never went there.
Did you guys always walk next to each other in the hallway? So it was like super weird. Can you go down one time? Because for those of you who don't know, Josh Sigler is the head coach of the United Girls, who got a win last night over East Palestine. He's on our got to sit down. Well, not sit down, stood up and did an interview with him. So, my question is, will you go down and do like, just mimic him behind him, everything that he does, like dress the same as he does, and everything that he does, almost like sign language when the governor would do the the stuff for the updates. You had the sign language person, just everything that he does, like do exactly that towards the crowd.
Well,
I'll pay for you to do that.
That would be hilarious.
But it's funny you say that because literally at least 2 to 3 times at United, every time I'm out there to do a game, everybody thinks I'm my brother. And it's like, I don't even have any dress clothes on or nothing. It's just like, and they say, hey, Josh, how you doing? And I'm just, how you doing? The best part, just long story short, the best part is because he's an elementary school teacher.
Yep.
So the best part is when a little kid comes by me in the store, or if I'm out at Beaver Local for some reason, or my niece goes there, she has friends. The kid comes by me and just looks up at me and doesn't talk. And they're just, and I'm just like, how you doing? I'm not Mr. Sigler. What's your name? I'll tell him you said hi.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. It was
But you
cool.
are Mr. Sigler though. That's
right. That's right.
It was cool having him. He got there before you did last night. So I got a few minutes with him and a talk shop. But it is weird. I'm not gonna lie. And obviously we had the girls for a little bit. Sarah loved putting them in the same clothes, and it just messes with your head. And then you got to find certain things that stand out. So you're like, my mind is telling me I'm having a conversation with you last night. For some reason, I cannot wrap my head around it. It was weird. It was weird. So it was a big night for United last night. Chris started slow, but man, they got going and they look good. A big matchup tomorrow against Salem, and they needed to have a big end of the first half in order to get them going for Saturday. So they got practice today, and then they've got the game tomorrow, 1:30. You and I will have the call. Salem, we don't know what to expect right now from the girls basketball team, and I think that's pure and simple because, they played a very tough West Branch team, but they lost to a Marlington team in a game that a lot of people are going to say was closer than it really was. Marlington basically owned that game from the tip. There was a couple pushes for Salem, but this is going to be probably the highlight, I think, of the games tomorrow. And we'll talk about the games today in just a little bit. But as far as the matinee game that you and I will have, what do you like about both teams, United and Salem?
There's a lot to like about Salem. First of all, the tradition there and their ability just to get after it on defense is, you got to respect that. And it's like that every year. Those girls buy in. They play full throttle, full length of the court. They're man to man, the full length of the court, and that's hard to do. And that's just something that's been instilled in them as a program for a long time. And it's a great tradition out there. They're really young. They have a great sophomore class, and there's a lot to like there. The one thing about Salem is they've struggled to put the ball in the hoop this year. So they're very streaky, though. I mean, they've come out and had a game where they've made multiple 3-point shots. The Marlington game, they got cold and couldn't find it. So there's a lot to like there for Salem. They're going to be fine tomorrow and in the long run.
I really like what I saw last night with United. That's one of the most athletic teams I think we have, and I'll put them at the top of the list. I mean, 1 through 5, they're athletic, they're tall, they're lanky, they're physical, and I'm not going to be surprised if we see a real barn burner tomorrow at 1:30.
The thing they have going for them is they've won 6 straight since their opening loss to Jackson, a very good Jackson Milton team. And the thing with United, their defense is really coming on right now. They play a lot of sophomores as well, and their biggest downfall is what we saw last night is getting off to a slow start. And I think if they get off to a little bit of a slow start against Salem, it could snowball against to them early, which those girls have that in their head. Last year, Salem went to United and just blew them off the floor. And that team was really young for United last year. A lot of inexperience. They played some freshmen. So I think this year, if they can hang around early, going to give them confidence going into the locker room is what they need moving forward.
We're going to get to the comments real quick. Cover you guys' faces for a moment. Jeff says, well, happy Friday, everybody. It's a good day to be a Howard. Got my boot off my broken foot and just won back-to-back natties at NCAA Dynasty with Kansas. Life is good when you have a 5-year extension. My guy plays more NCAA football than anybody I know. Unbelievable. Congratulations on your back-to-back natties, Jeff. We're super proud of you, and welcome to Kansas, I guess. Last time I checked, he was in, where was he? Florida?
UCF or something, right?
Yes, it was something.
He was in New Mexico there for a
New
second.
Mexico,
He
that's
was.
what it was.
He was an Aggie. That's right.
There it is.
Hey, DJ, real quick on that
yeah. Salem
Salem United matchup. This is going to be the first time where Salem might struggle with the size of United. They're big. We scrimmaged United down at the East Liverpool in a 3-way, and we really struggled with their size. We struggled more with United than we did with Salem, and we lost this. I mean, obviously Salem could have controlled whatever they wanted to against us in that game, but we struggled more with United because of their size all the way across, and their guards are strong, physical. The number one for United, well, she wore number 1 during her during the scrimmage, but she looks like she is a bodybuilder, like gymnast or something of some sort. She's extremely strong, and one thing that Salem preys on is a smaller guard that's not as physical, because they can create turnovers, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that much with her. That's going to be probably one of the best matchups in the area tomorrow for sure.
Chris, didn't Maddie have 2 and 1s last night?
Yeah, she had 2, and that's something that, as a team, they struggled on making close, opportunistic shots. I saw their stats today, and it still wasn't that great from last night's game. So, and they struggled to get the and ones because they always were shying away from contact, believe it or not, until last night's game. They really did their job and got through and got to the foul line.
Nick saying West Branch was taller than Salem at every position. You see how that went. Salem was able to handle their own. We're not saying
okay.
Trust me.
Nick, you're a Salem homer. We understand that. I love Salem to death. Those are my girls down there. They won by 1 point over West Branch on a very good inbound play by Cammie Rom to Riley Hutton to Abby Davidson for the layup. That's all it was. They play hard. West Branch is one of those teams though that's by the end of the year, rematch number 2 might be a little bit of a different story. They're growing fast, and I get it, Nick. I get it, buddy. I love Salem just as much as you do. Well, you probably love Salem more because we'll give you that, but West Branch is nothing to knock.
And to Donnie's point is, it's just not Salem's game this year to go inside either. I mean, that was their game in the past, and that's gone. They're more of a spread it out team. Teams are playing zone against them for a reason because they're trying to limit their ability to penetrate to the basket with their strong guard play. So, and that's what Marlington did. West Branch did the same thing, but they also went man-to-man too, so they changed it up. So, a little different of philosophy this year for Salem.
Oh, yeah.
that game tomorrow, 1:30, United at Salem. Chris, you and I will be there, have the call. Amo is going to be in the building, as I understand it, as well. So will be a fun time at 1:30. You guys got to watch that. Absolutely free on the network. Also tomorrow, 2:30, Austin Town Fitch at Cardinal Mooney. Girls basketball, Alec Caberna will be on the call. Noah will be at Ursuline at Boardman.
No, that's canceled.
Oh, it's canceled?
Yeah, COVID.
All right. There it is. Now we got update. So that's it. Quinn, you want to take care of that one for me?
Yep.
Just let Noah know that there's no game. And then we have Catholic Central versus Edison at 1:30 as well. Then boys basketball tomorrow, 2:30. Ian O'Brien will have Valley at Liberty. Canfield at West Branch at 7 p.m. We'll also have Jefferson County Christian at East Palestine at 7 p.m. And Catholic Central at Edison boys at 4:30. Those are your games tomorrow. We're going to talk about today's games, and we're going to make a couple interesting storylines out of this because, guys, I don't know if you heard about this, and if you haven't, I apologize, and if you're a parent or whoever that's hearing about this for the first time, listen up. So it was brought to my attention about this TikTok challenge that's been going on, and it's so sad. Like it's like slapping people and hurting people. They're not good challenges, right? You're not challenging somebody to do something that's worthwhile in society. And today's was probably the worst that I've ever seen. And schools all over the place were very, very nervous about school. How do I put this?
School safety.
School safety. Thank you. If you're out there and this actually goes through your mind, I know Rob is a big advocate for, stubbing your toe on. Like this is awful. This is absolutely awful. This is nothing that's good. Like this can affect your entire life. If you think this is funny, that calling in a bomb threat or calling in, some other act of vandalism or terrorism is going to get you a day off of school. Listen, you're going to have a lot of days off of school because you're going to go to jail. And if it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And adults don't think this is funny. Most your classmates don't think it's funny. And a lot of them would never be caught dead doing it because they know the ramifications for their actions. So we have cancellations today for basketball and for obvious reasons. Schools have to be very careful and mindful about who they're bringing in to safety and if they can keep them safe in their own four walls. And we have cancellations. Brookfield and Liberty are canceled, and these might be for different reasons. Marlington and Salem, we're told that is a health reason. And then there's cancellations tomorrow. You just heard Ursuline and Boardman's canceled. Garfield and McDonald's canceled. South Range and Laurel canceled. Whether it's health or otherwise, I know that there's a lot of people in our community today that were very afraid for their lives and for the lives of their kids, the lives of students, and there was a lot of praying going on. If this stuff has to stop. It has to stop. There's enough problems in the world right now with COVID and real issues that we don't need made-up problems just so you don't have to go to school. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible, guys. And I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I do want your input on what needs to be done. My biggest thing when I think about this, and obviously I don't have kids old enough to use this, but parents are blaming TikTok instead of just taking it off their phones. Like get it out. It can't do anything good for you. That's my solution. I'm a big guy for if you have a problem, bring a solution with you in your back pocket. There's my solution. Get rid of it. Schools should be. I'm at the point where schools should ban TikTok. It should be done. And I don't know, Donnie, your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, just at the high school alone today in Boardman, there were 14 pages of absent kids because of the fear of it. And I talked to one of my best friends is the chief of police at Boardman. We go to breakfast every Saturday morning, and I talked to him last night. My wife wanted me to confirm with him, and again, this was a national thing that they throw out there, and what these kids do is they copy and paste, and they say a kid from Austin Town's going to send it over to a kid from Boardman and say, hey, this is happening at BMS. Well, there is no BMS at Boardman. It's BCIS and BGJHS. So there's none of that. You know what I mean? But the fear, you want to err on the side of caution. no matter what, because obviously the student safety is number one priority in the staff. But you're right. This is absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that these kids, I don't know, it wasn't too long ago when these kids were doing the TikTok challenge where they would go destroy bathrooms in schools and stuff like that. Like, what are you doing? What would possess you to think that is a smart thing to do? Period. So literally to have something like this happen today, it fires me up. You know, I stayed locally for work today. I stuck around locally just in case, you know, because again, you want to err on the side of caution, but enough's enough with the stupid stuff. I mean, some of these kids have no business being on the social media, and a lot of these athletes, and I don't want to call out other schools and stuff, but like, you see these kids and they're posting pictures of drinks in their hands and vaping and all that. Like you're a student athlete, you can't be doing that stuff, and then you're going to post it on social media when every coach on the planet has the talk with them. Okay, you can only take it so far. You could say, look, you got to make the right decisions because if you're caught doing this, you're out. You know what I mean? So I think there needs to be a stricter policy, because unlike Facebook, where, you know, you can land in Facebook jail a lot, like the guy next to me. You
don't. What's wrong with you, man?
Yeah, I know. You can't. You don't have that kind of monitoring per se on TikTok. There's a lot of loose stuff that happens there, and sometimes TikTok will catch it and take the post down. But man, there's a lot of loose stuff on there. So I don't know.
Rob, from your standpoint, how does this stop?
Well, you got to figure out where it started before you're going to figure out how it stops. Because I'll tell you something right now. You're not going to take the social media away from kids. There is a reason why we don't pay for social media, and a lot more powerful people make sure that it is in everybody's face, and that's we're out where they want us. Our heads are buried, and as soon as these screens, let's go back just a tiny bit further, because I'll get real fired up, and I'll try and make sure I watch my language when it comes to this stuff too. But you know, if you want to go this far down a rabbit hole, let's go back to when we weren't allowed to stop, you know, basically whoop our kids' asses anymore and tell them what was the difference between what is wrong. And all of a sudden, we gave these little shits a 1-800 number, and then they started calling people, and then they started getting on this, and then all of a sudden, let's put them in a timeout that doesn't work. And at the same time, while we're going through all that, simultaneously, let's let the screens raise our kids.
Yep.
Because we don't raise the kids anymore. What do you see when you go to a mall, or you go to a beach, or you go on vacation? You see a 5-year-old kid with a tablet in front of his face the entire time. You don't see any parents taking that kid by the hand and showing them the ropes. They learn everything off the screen. Guess what they have access to? YouTube. You know what's on YouTube? Some of the most disturbing videos you can ever let a 5-year-old kid watch. And guess what? By the time they're 13, they're going to be programmed, and they're going to be stupid enough to actually go into the bathroom and destroy it because of a TikTok challenge. They're going to be stupid enough to disregard everybody's feelings. And I'll tell you what, I seen the post that was sent to Boardman. I like what Donnie's talking about when he said BMS. I am not worried. I know these challenges are stupid, they're idiotic. I personally was not worried about anybody shooting up a school today around us. I was not worried about a bomb threat. I was more worried about how stupid these kids can actually be to go through with something like that, to even put it out there. And now, saying that, what I'll follow this up with, I'm my own person. I can't speak for everybody else. I can't speak for the hundreds, if not thousands, millions of parents that were scared helplessly. Because when I seen that post, when somebody sent it, I play poker with a cop, and they sent the text. And when I seen that, even me, I was even like, okay, that's pretty intimidating. Because it basically was a picture of a gun saying that you don't show up because you're going to get sprayed out.
Oh,
right.
And so could you imagine all these kids seeing something like that, and then their parents seeing something like that? And then what are you going to do with Snapchat? That's the social media. No kids are on Facebook. The reason they're on Snapchat is because they could post it, and it's gone in less than 24 hours. And guess what? You can't screenshot it, because if you screenshot it, they know you screenshot it, so now you're a snitch. So how are you going to stop this? First of all, you could shut it down all you want. They're going to figure out a way. Yeah. You need to get further deeper into it, and you need to correct how this all began in the first place, in my opinion. And good luck.
That's a great take. Siggy, from your standpoint, I mean, obviously, it's not a good situation to be in, and we've lived this. All six of us have been around, and we've seen the school shootings and bad things happen in schools and public places, and there's people that'll say, oh, that's just a threat. Well, until the threat becomes a reality, and some people are going to warn you. Yeah, they're going to tell you they did it. Most people, whether you're a conspiracy theorist or not, you're going to find a note or some kind of evidence leading up to the crime. And, I hate to even think about that. What if something would have happened? You know what I mean? You sit there and you start wondering what would have happened. And my heart sunk for every parent that has a kid that is school aged today. It's sunk because I had no idea this was going on. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not into that stuff. I've got my own social media that I go on, but these challenges, Chris, they're not good. I mean, all these challenges started. Remember with the ALS challenge and the bucket challenge? That's where it started, and this is where it's morphed to, and it's not good.
And my wife's a teacher, so at Canfield, and we were sitting here last night, and she's the one that talked to me about what was posted on TikTok. And I'm hoping that the precedent was set with what just happened in Michigan, where they're finally holding parents responsible for their children's actions. And with threats like that, if they find out who made a threat, hey, guess what, mom and dad? Because you are not in control of what's going on,
right? Because
you don't want to be in charge of your child, somebody's going to be in charge of you, and you're not going to like it. Whether you're charged with a felony or what, to me, it's a felony. Sorry about your luck. Be more in control of what your kids are doing and watch what they're doing on social media. And back to Rob's point, they're not on Facebook because adults are.
Yep.
All the old people are on Facebook.
They literally make fun of us for it. So
there you go. And they know that we're not going to go on these other outlets because we don't really have any use for them.
It's like trying to stay ahead, right? They're trying to stay away from us, the older generations. That way, we don't know what's going on. I mean, the whole reason I remember TikTok in the first place was because Donald Trump tried to ban it, and whether you're political or not, doesn't seem like a bad idea at this moment. With all the things that happened today. CJ, a different perspective because you're significantly younger than some of us. Quinn being the only other one that's close. Talk to me about your perspective from a kid. You know what I mean? Like you're still technically in college. You haven't graduated yet until Sunday.
Yeah.
What's your take on this?
Well, it's the worst thing you can do as a kid is threaten a school like that. At the end of the day, it's the lowest of low you can possibly go, and that the way you fix it, man, I really don't know. I think Rob made a great point of fix it where the problem starts. Whether it's threatening a kid, listen, if you ever even consider posting something like that, you're gone. You're expelled, just flat out. I don't know how else you do it.
What I meant, let me elaborate. When I said starting or going back to where it all started, I've kind of left this part out, was basically going back to putting your foots up these kids' asses, getting more involved, knowing what they're doing, and monitoring it. Because I'll tell you right now, man, I know plenty of parents, and I love them. I know a ton of kids around here. I mean, my stepdaughter will tell you I'm just as popular as she is in her grade in Struthers. And I tell kids all the time, listen, I'm cool, but I ain't that cool. All right. So, but while the stuff that I'm seeing and hearing and seeing what's going on, and these parents are just turning a blind eye. And the first ones that are guilty, or the ones that are the most guilty, are going to be the first ones that tell you my kid isn't doing anything. No, let me tell you something. Your kid is doing more than you want to know. Absolutely. And I'm not even about to play snitch. But let me tell you, here, just go into if you could ever figure it out, the stuff that I've heard these kids say on Snapchat, it's gotten to a point where I was like, listen, I tell them if I have to save this kid, I'm gonna have to, hey, we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to play snitch because there's no way. I mean, if they're saying stupid stuff, but if they get serious, like threats or God forbid any serious drugs or whatever, then we're gonna go have a talk. In that, but that's what I meant.
And I think
going back to putting our foots up the kids' asses.
Oh, I'm with you on that, and I think Sigler's point in that was well said. Pin the parents with it. It's their kids. If they are, if they're so neglectful and don't know what their kids are doing, that's a problem. I mean, that's a huge issue, and maybe some parents woke up to that.
To me, it's not any different than leaving your kids at 2 years old behind in the house. You're doing just as much damage. And people say that all the time. I would never do that. It happens every day, folks. It happens every day. If you don't believe it, go into the foster system. Understand the foster system a little bit. And I'm not saying because I am, but I've learned a lot in 2.5 years about the how people care for their kids, right? And most people are really good. But I also understand that people are really busy, right? And this is a really good babysitter. This phone is a really good babysitter. Give them a phone, give them a tablet, give them whatever. It's supposed to be meant for an hour, right? For recreational time, to get them to get their creative juices going, because they don't make, do they? I don't know. Do they make those, what were those things we had, the Magnadoodles and all that stuff? They don't make that stuff anymore. It's all.
The Etch-a-Sketches?
Yeah, Etch-a-Sketch.
I don't know.
Magnadoodle.
I don't see them anywhere. Magnadoodles like that, yeah, that's...
Well, they don't have toy stores anymore.
Yeah, they don't.
Too. That's very true. Amo says, I honestly don't know what I'd do if a little Amo... Yeah. You think about it. I guarantee, Quinn, you're in the same boat. You being a coach, I guarantee every one of us across the board said, man, what would I do if my kid was the one that did that? Mm-hmm. Can you, because you can't say that you'd obviously beat them. You can't say that, you could say you put...
Yes, I would.
Figuratively put your foot up.
Yes, I would.
I'm Italian. Backwards.
I'm Italian. I get passes.
That's the problem. That's the whole big thing. You can't talk about whooping your kids' asses anymore because all of a sudden everybody else is like, hey, that's assault, brother. Like, no, that's me making sure my kid isn't one of the idiots that did what your kid did.
That's a trouble. Quinn, I mean, from your standpoint, from a coaching, obviously you guys are playing tonight, so nothing got canceled. But frustration, it's just a game. But we know that if it works once, it'll work again down the road. We've had people. I've been a kid that prayed for a snow day. When I didn't want to study for a test, or I knew I wasn't prepared for a test, I prayed for a snow day. I never prayed for somebody to come in and do anything harmful to the school. From your standpoint, do you think that it needs to be solved, or has it gone too far?
I mean, yeah, it's gone too far, but I kind of don't know how to solve something like that, because that's a natural threat you have to kind of act on regardless. You have to take the necessary steps no matter what happens if that is ever said. You have to do it as a school to assure the safety of everybody else.
DJ, real quick, it goes back to just even as something as minor, if you think about it, as the bathroom challenge stuff is. These kids now, and not all of them, there's a lot of good kids out there, but they're not afraid of consequences on a lot of aspects, and that's why they do it. They're not afraid of, the old adage when I was growing up, and probably a couple of you, was if you get caught, don't call me, because you're not going to want me to come get you. You're going to want the cops to take you to the police station, because what they do to you is going to be far less than what I'm going to do to you when you get home. So I don't know how many times I heard that as a kid,
Oh, yeah.
But, and I had a friend of mine at one point years ago, and I was watching his kids, and he says, I just don't want my kids to be afraid of me. And I said, whoa. I said, look, there's a difference between your kids being afraid of you and your kids being afraid of the consequences they face if they mess up. And there's a big difference. And I think he was blending the two together. He was like, no. There's nothing wrong with a kid being scared to death of, man, I don't want to get caught. A lot of kids now, They don't care if they get caught,
And
and that's why they don't even. That's why they're not even creative to hide it.
the crazy part about all this is, and I've said this before, and this is what it all comes down to for me. Whether it's a good mistake, a bad mistake, whether it's a mistake or not, it always comes down to intent, right? So when you look at what was occurring today, someone can sit there and go, ha 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 ha, I got us a day off of school. But the reality is, someone, and I don't know if from my standpoint, I can only imagine that someone now is afraid for their own safety at their own school, where these kids should feel absolutely safe and secure all the time. That's some people. That's the only place they are safe. You know what I mean?
Well, think about what the challenge was in the first place. Why would it be that? Because if you think about it, they could have said anything. They could have said, hey, somebody go take a piss in front of the high school sidewalk. Yeah. No, they went straight for the jugular because we've been dealing with school shootings for what, 30 years now? On a more
since 1997.
I mean, it's come on. And that's what they go with? Not just a bomb there, because first of all, the majority of the kids, I'm not worried about any kid out there making a bomb. Like I said, I'm worried about the kids that are actually stupid enough, and like Sickle was saying, not worried about the consequences that are going through with something this dumb. And it's when I say this dumb, I don't want to downplay. What I'm talking about is the level of ignorance in regards to what we went through, even as a nation, with school shootings. And then that's the challenge you're going to use. So some kid is deranged as he or she was watching those YouTube videos since age 5, is now 14 years old and gets up to one morning pissed off at the world because their parents told them no. And now we're going to go ahead and make this challenge famous. That was one person. That wasn't a group. And then it just spanned out. So now we're all over the place.
To me, it's no different than an act of terrorism on our country.
No, it isn't. It is an act of terrorism. You literally put that many people in fear. You had closes canceled. You got sporting events canceled. My stepdaughter came home, and the first thing she asked me is if I heard about this. So you got everybody talking about it. It is an absolute terror threat. And those parents, along with who was Sigler saying, or I think your example in the Michigan or whatever, the parents got to be held responsible. And now you want to talk about a trickle down? Once parents finally realize that they can actually get in trouble for their stupid ass kids, they might get more involved in what their kids are doing.
My kid gets caught. Uncle Sig and Uncle DJ better get the call.
It's true. Hey, DJ, real quick though, the person that started the challenge, this is how idiotic these kids are too. They don't realize that person number one they're gonna find out who started and initiated this post on Snapchat, on TikTok, on Facebook, on any of them, because what they're not realizing is everything is traceable. Everything is traceable.
Oh, the digital footprint.
It's ridiculous. Oh, yeah. They don't get it. So that is a national terror threat. That whoever that person was that put it out there, that's a national terror threat. And that's going to be that person's done. They're done.
And they're going to sing like a bird, because this is not a situation. Think about when we were in high school. This isn't a situation where somebody acts alone usually.
Right.
This is something where, hey, let's do this and see what happens, right? This is not going to be...
Well, that's what we were used to, but that could change now. Now we have to worry about the one kid that's just mad as hell and waking up and saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to just really stir some stuff up. So it could be that one person. But I agree, realistically, they could probably have a conversation with anybody, but, I would not be surprised if it was like some little lonely-ass 14-year-old kid that just was left in his room or her room or whatever, and then they just woke up and said, I'm going to do something crazy. Not worried about the repercussions.
I would be surprised if this was a solo, just because you don't do this for anything but the reaction. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
You have to have friends to send it to, right? And I don't know how this works, but you can't not have people following you on social media and it be this effective. And that's the problem. Is somebody did this for attention, and they need a lot more attention than they think they need, if this is what they need to get that attention.
And it's no different than Nerf company creating an exact replica of a gun, but putting Nerf. I saw that. Listen, I saw that commercial, and I was like, "Are you out of your mind?" If my son ever had that in his hand and was waving it around, no, that's just stupid. Pure stupidity.
It's just a bad idea. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a bad idea. I was told once I got to a certain age, right? When I escaped the walls of East Palestine and we were starting to go to Bobstein Park, I was told one thing: if you ever step up on somebody in Youngstown, you are going to deal with consequences. You're either going to get laid out one way or the other. So you have to be careful, because small town tough guys and small town tough gals are not made for the real world, right? So when you step up in your own house, it's a little bit different than when you step out on somebody's front porch. So spent way more
I
time.
got the scars to prove it.
Yeah, I spent way more time. But this is what we're facing in our world today. This is what this show's about. Yes, we are a sports company, but it has affected sports in a big way, and it will excuse me, and I apologize. It will continue to affect sports in a big way unless somebody pulls the plug on this. And hopefully, we got great first responders and police and detectives that hopefully are able to sniff this out and put an end to this. And listen, as far as I'm concerned, the first person that gets figured out on this, they need to be an example of why you don't do it. So
them and their parents.
Yeah, exactly. Gentlemen, it is a let's put a twist on this today, because it's been such a downplayed negative, and we don't like being negative here on YSN or on the show. Let's do your favorite Christmas movie for our Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark. Let's do a little twist on it, if you don't mind, to give something positive back to the people of YSN and the Power Hour. Here we go. It's your Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by our friends over at DickeyElectric.com. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, you need to go to the official electric supplier of YSN. And today, we ask, what is your favorite Christmas movie? And this is a big time question in my house, because there's some that people don't even consider as a Christmas movie. Siggy, let's start with you with your Christmas treats behind you.
Yeah. Well, I could always go with the the staple National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, or whatever. No. I'm going to test people's age here. I'm going with Emmett Otter, Jug Band Christmas. Favorite Christmas movie of all time. Came out, I don't even know, early 80s. You don't know what I'm talking about? Google it, YouTube it. Classic.
That's the second time I've heard that today, and I still have no clue what you're talking about.
It's
Zero.
Awesome.
All right.
If you watch it now, though, as an adult, you'll be like, are you kidding me, Sigler? But I'm telling you.
All right, let's go Donnie Riccatelli.
My favorite by far is A Christmas Story. Listen, there's so many things that happen in that movie that are just downright hilarious, and they can be very, very true. But Christmas Story, You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, Kid. I to this day I don't say fragile, I say fragile. I may or may not have tried to stick my tongue on a pole, So
did you really?
When we were younger, we tried it. Give me the flagpole at Roosevelt Elementary School in McDonald. Absolutely, it was one of those things where luckily it didn't stick to the pool. It wasn't cold enough, thank God, because that would have sucked. But it just everything from the dogs running in and eating the turkey, and them having to go get Chinese after, and the kids always getting followed home. Listen, in McDonald, we walked to school. So we had those kids from Hilltop always picking fights with us, always doing that stuff. So that was us. We fought those kids. They were bullies. The one kid pushed my sister to the ground, and I let him have it. It was so much fun. But The Christmas Story is basically a Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania. That's a feel good Christmas story for sure.
Joey P wants to know, there's no one at the Fitch game tonight. The Fitch is on the road in a non-YSN school, if I'm not mistaken, correct? I think so. They're not on our schedule.
Does anybody know who they have?
I don't. Joey, can you tell us who they have And that might be something we move somebody to, because Ty is at McDonald. Well, I don't have him. I don't have Fitch on our schedule. I'm not even sure that they. I don't know. Quinn, we'll figure that out. Maybe Joey will be able to help us. Have you ever been to the Christmas Story house, Tony?
No, so we were actually going to go. We were going to go to Crocker Park. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Crocker Park, but we were going to go to the Christmas Story house. But they're limited on their showings, and it basically takes about 15 to 20 minutes to go through the house. And the time frame that we wanted to go versus the time frame everything else was open, we just couldn't make it work. So, okay, they play Massillon. Yeah, Massillon's not a school, but yeah, no, that I keep hearing that house is awesome to go through.
It's neat. It
Yeah.
is. We've done it. It was pretty cool, but it's a lot smaller, than you.
Oh, I
imagine
bet.
It would be.
I bet.
Tight spaces. So, Rob, what is your favorite Christmas movie?
It's I will say I should say it's not even close. Christmas Story is so good that we refuse to watch it until Christmas and then leave it on the TV all freaking day long. I gotta say what's up though, man. Home Alone and the Christmas Carol, the 1984 version. Those are my top three. So one is one of them, but Christmas Story, everything about that movie, like Donnie says, it's not just watching the movie; it's relating to a lot of it throughout the movie, and dealing with all that stuff that you dealt with as a family growing up, and things like that. But like you said, a perfect setting from where we are, from where we're from, and I can literally watch that movie throughout the entire day, every single year.
Let's go to CJ. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie is Christmas Vacation. I love it. It's hilarious. Watch it multiple times every year. But I'll go with another one too. I love White Christmas. The when was it? 1954 musical. Oh, it's so good. The music in that's beautiful. I watch it every Christmas Eve. It gets me right in the holiday spirit. Just love everything about it.
Quinn, how about you?
Christmas Vacation. I don't watch any other movies. I hate everything.
Not even Elf?
Nope. I'm
That's such a Quinn answer,
I
too.
hate Christmas. I hate Christmas movies.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I don't watch any other movies. I watch Christmas Vacation once, and I'm done. I'm also the guy that sets up the tree on Christmas Eve and tears it down on the 26th. So.
Oh my God!
So
You don't even want to know when ours went up. When ours goes down.
I saw a video of your family putting up your Christmas tree. Your son is an exact replica of you.
Yeah, that's my dude. Little Feliz Navidad.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. That was hilarious.
I said, Alan, your butt's more famous than me at 8 years old. Literally shaking his butt.
I'm a Home Alone guy. I really have grown to like Home Alone more and more over the years. Just because when you're a kid, it's just a movie. You know what I mean? It's for entertainment. But there's so many really cool moments in that one movie that happen. But that's where it ends. Like, maybe a little bit of Home Alone 2, Home Alone 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Home Alone, whatever. No thanks. Pass. Also, Die Hard. Die Hard, honorable mention. And, yes, I will accept Star Wars movies as Christmas movies because they all come out on Christmas. So, just so we're on the same plane here. That is going to do it for the YSN Power Hour this week. Next week, Christmas, so we'll have a shortened week. We'll talk to you guys about how many you want to do or what you want to do with next week. I definitely want to do a Christmas Eve episode and just talk about Christmas because I think it'd be cool to talk about our Christmas past and our favorite part of the holidays. So hopefully you guys can join us next week on the YSN Power Hour. If not, I completely get it. We got to make sure Kelly comes in to give us his best Christmas. Maybe we'll let him be Santa Claus and let people.
He would do it.
Let's do it.
He would do it.
Kelly's we're gonna make him do it. He's gonna be Santa Claus.
Hey,
get him the
he
hat
still
and
has.
beard.
Speaking of Star Wars, he still has my Chewbacca costume from like 8 years ago when he tried to wear it in the Mountaineer Casino. So maybe he'll come on as Santa Baca.
What is in Step Brothers, what does he say at the end? He's like, "It's okay, it's not movie quality."
It's okay. It's not movie quality. Mine's not movie quality.
That's gonna do it, guys. Thank you so much for spending an hour with us. I greatly appreciate it. You have no idea, and we appreciate you spending an hour with all of us here. Hope you have a great weekend. And again, 19 games on the network tonight. Enjoy it all for free right here on your sports network. So long, everybody. YSN thanks you for